injectors, the Coney suspension we've fitted out for it, which we've tailored exactly for what we want to do for wet and dry conditions, and just up the boost a little bit, otherwise the car's standard. Yeah.
What boost did this car run and what are you running now?
Basically 14 pound was standard, we're running 16 pounds. Standard it puts around 219 kilowatts to the rear wheels, we're producing around 260 now. Last year's car had 230.
This is probably the closest I'll get to going in the Targa Tasmania for a while. We're not in Tassie, but the scenery looks pretty similar. How many days does the Targa Tasmania go for, Craig?
Basically it goes for 5 days of the event and 1 day of prologue. The prologue is set up for the starting positions.
Right, okay. And about how many cars enter the event?
Approximately 300.
Last year, who were the two in front of you?
We had Jim Richards in a 996 turbo Porsche 4-drive, which is just an awesome weapon. And we had Gary Quinn in a GT3 Porsche, which is non-turbo, of course. Yeah.
And was there any Porsches behind you?
Several.
Several.
Yeah.
So the Japs were coming through strong.
The straps were through strong, yeah. We actually had an IS 200, which was 4th place, and then a GTR after that. Yeah.
Who are the guys that are going to be the big contenders? Who are you going to really be chasing?
We're chasing Jim Richards in a 996. We've also got Gary Quinn this year, who's in a 996. We've got Greg Keane, who's driving a GT2.
GT2, he's around 400 grand, I think, and this guy would be closer to 40,000. You reckon you can take him out with the 1/10 the purchase price?
Yeah, because it's a good car. One of the best production, sports cars that Japanese cars can ever make.
What sort of contingent of Japanese cars got in the Targa last year, at least?
The contingency of Japanese was GTRs. There was another Supra. There was plenty of RX-7s. This year they've allowed Evos, 4-drive cars, to be entered in the event. So
really?
We're going to have Evo 7s, we'll have Evo 6s. The Rexes are in there as well. It's a long event. It's hard on machinery. So we'll just see who ends up at the end of it.
Are you a bit worried that now it's just going to be dominated by WRXs and Evos?
Day 1, 2 and 3 are going to be, for sure, a pleasurable thing for an Evo. Evo more so than I think the WRX. WRX will do a good job, but it's the last 2 days are the days where the real horsepower comes in and the real bigger cars with a lot of power do well.
Just because of more straights, or?
Well, it's longer straights, it's more power stuff, it's uphill, and that side of it is where the bigger cars usually come through.
Well, good luck with it, Craig. I reckon we'll see you on the victory podium with a big trophy in your hands. But we spoke to him first, so we knew all about it. We can already tell you that he's going to win.
That's it, thanks.
Thanks, Craig.
Well, we've made the trek down from Perth down to the Collie Powerhouse circuit for round 2 of the Enyo State Speed Event Series. The turnout at round 1 at Wanneroo was possibly a little better. They've been promising sundown here all week, yet out's come the rain. Still, a few guys have made the journey down. That, with the rain and the fact that a lot of these guys are first time on the circuit, means we should be in for a bit of fun. So how it works is this. Cars are broken into groups and sent out in staggered intervals. Get 3 laps to post your quickest time, and the quickest time for each category is the winner. You may have noticed a lot of these cars are just registered street cars. You don't need a lot of money to get involved. You need a $60 CAMS license, which you can get through a CAMS affiliated club, and a helmet. It's as simple as that. This series will run throughout the state and throughout the year, and Racecar will be covering most of the events. But you can contact us and we can help you get involved. This week, we have something a little different for you. Something we like to call the X-Speed Drift Battle. Now, if you've been following the Japanese performance car scene, you will know that drifting, or drift-off, is the new age motorsport developed on the streets of Japan. It's the only form of motorsport we know of where stopwatches are not required. There are 2 main types of drifting. The first type happens in the early hours of the morning in quiet industrial areas. The other type, the legal version, is organised drifting competitions where drifters compete against each other on a track. A winner is determined by a panel of judges who award points for form and style. The idea of a good drift is to get the car sideways before the corner, through the corner, and all the way to the next corner. The more corners you link together with no traction and remaining sideways, the better the drift. The essential ingredients for a drift setup are a rear-wheel drive, a good dose of horsepower to keep the wheels spinning throughout the corner, and a few backup sets of tyres, because if you're drifting right, you're going to need them.
It's going too quick. If he pulls this off.
With its huge popularity in Japan, drifting is quickly catching on here, as we can see in this week's X-Speed Battle.